you come up against someone like Carlos, it's tough to find the right answers. When I played him in the exhibition just before the tournament, I thought his level was freakishly good, and he's, especially in those night conditions, he's so strong, right? And he's able to generate so much force, and his unforced errors just almost disappear, right? In the past, when the conditions have been, a little bit quicker and skiddier, the rallies start, you probably hitting the ball bigger than I've hit previously in these types of matches, but I'm still not able to kind of hit through him. And then he's obviously got the ability to generate on command, and if you leave one ball short, then the point's over. He's playing at a very high level, ultimately number one in the world for a reason.
In Yannick and Carlos, it's tough. They just play better tennis than other guys, and again, I think what is important is that I played a lot of big names in tennis, and you can beat anyone on a given day. I'm not shy to say that if we play like 20 matches against Carlos and Yannick, let's say 10 with each of them, I'll probably lose a lot of them, but I'm going to try my best in every of them to win. And again, out of 10 matches, you can win some. I'm not going to say a number, but you can win. They can have a bit of an off day. I did beat both of them in the Grand Slams in the different tournaments. I'm looking for myself to be consistent because, for example, last year was a bad year for me and I didn't manage to meet them because they were, of course, always in the finals and stuff like this. I was losing early, so I didn't even play them. So for me, it's important to hold my ground, play well, get to the point of playing them because it's like usually quarter semis, and then I will be happy to take on this challenge. But again, they are two best players in the world. Probably nobody right now to challenge them on the consistent base, but one match they can always lose, and even yesterday you saw it was a tiebreak. Okay, it's a small step, but everyone can beat them on a given day.
He kind of like suffocates you in a way. He makes you feel like you have no time. He rushes you. Last time we played, I think, was French Open, and he gave me a real ass whooping. So
I'll give you a mulligan.
Yeah.
You've mentioned the way this rivalry is tough for you, but it seems like you always come up with some really great stuff every time you guys play. Like, feels like you could make like an hour-long highlight reel of your shots, like just against him. And I'm wondering, like, how do you balance kind of knowing that you're going to play a bunch of great rallies with like the stuff he does really well? Like, how do you just feel about the matchup in general?
I mean, I think that's the easiest part about playing him, I mean, you know that you're going to have fun, at least, I mean, when we have the points like that and the crowd loves it, we love it. Like, it's always, you know that you're going to have fun points. You know that you're going to, like, have points so you both play great tennis. That is the fun part about playing Carlos, though.
At Wimbledon, when Grigor was playing against Yannick and I was sitting there, that made it easy to think how it could have been because Grigor plays very similar to how I played. So that, I think, was one of the first times I thought, like, how would it have been to play Yannick in a match situation? When I saw Yannick play against Novak in Shanghai, I didn't feel that way. I was just watching great tennis because they both play very different to how I play. Carlos, when I see him, I see more like, okay, I feel like there's more similarities in terms of what we would do, in terms of when we would hit a drop shot, when we would come to the net, how offensive, how passive do we decide to play, because I think we like to play on our terms. So I put myself more into Carlos's mindset and skin when I watch him, and with Sinner, just at one time I thought, like, okay, now I understand how I would probably play against Yannick. The rivalry between Alcaraz and Sinner, I think, is a great one. I mean, they play incredible tennis. I think that French Open final was unreal. I think the game, not that it needed it, but I think it was great that we had it, because I feel like for a moment, the world stood still in the sporting world and watched towards Paris and what was going on, in that epic fifth set, because it could have ended much, much sooner for Yannick, obviously. And then all of a sudden, it just ended up in this most crazy fashion, made it one of the greatest games, we've ever had in our sport. So I think it's good we still live off that momentum, and then they backed it up by playing each other in all those other finals. And everybody else is trying to keep up, and they're still trying to pull away, because what we've seen in terms of their progression in the last years, it's been wonderful. I practiced with both guys a little bit, and they're incredible ball strikers, and there's obviously more to come. I just hope they stay injury-free, obviously.
It's quite crazy that you and Carlos have had such a storied rivalry despite being 16 years apart in age. I'm curious, just what has changed in his game since you first played him to now, and he's got basically, he's the youngest person to ever achieve what he achieved today. Do you consider him the best young player to have played?
I mean, the results are testament to his already stellar career, and can't think of any other superlatives about him. I mean, I think everything is said, and he deserves every bit of the praise he gets from his peers, but also the whole tennis community. I mean, he's a very nice young man, good values, nice family, and of course already a legendary tennis player that made a mark of our already a huge mark in the history books of tennis. I mean, with only 22 years of age, so it's super impressive, no doubt about it. And first time I played him, he was 11 or 12 years old. No, he was, I think, 18 or 19, and you could already see that he's destined for great things. But of course, a lot has changed since then. He has improved physically, mentally, game-wise. I mean, he's constantly looking to innovate himself in his game, which is exactly the kind of mentality that needs to be nurtured for a champion. It's never enough in terms of settling with your game. You have to progress, otherwise you regress, because everyone else progresses. So, I mean, he has everything. I mean, a whole package, and really, as I said, a nice guy and very respected. And so, congrats to him, to his team, to his family. I mean, he's only 22. I mean, it's unbelievable. And everything is possible in his case, no question about it. I mean, if he was able to achieve for already such a young age 7 slams and all the other accolades, I mean, he's steering forward big time. So, well, I mean, of course, there's Sinner. The two of them, I guess, are going to be fighting for biggest titles, and then the youngsters like myself are going to try to catch up. I have tremendous respect for what Yannick and Carlos are doing, and they continue to do, and they will do for the next 10 to 15, 20 years. God knows how many years they're going to play. They're so young. And this is a kind of a natural cycle in sports. You're going to have another 2 superstars that are going to maybe have another third guy, that I'm going to cheer for, because I've always been the third guy at the beginning. But it's good for our sport. I think these kind of rivalries and the contrast of the personalities and the styles of play.
Who do you like watching?
Alcaraz, I think, has to be like.
I haven't mentioned him.
Yeah, no, he's remarkable. His athleticism, his spirit. You turn on the TV, and if you looked at him, you would have no idea if he's winning or losing, because he just is who he is, and he looks happy to be out there. He looks thrilled, and he's so explosive and so dynamic, and has everything that you could ever ask for, from a skill perspective. And then you add his mental clarity and his passion for the game, and it's great somebody to take over the mantle.